Hey everybody, John here, your host on Mgtow is Freedom. Welcome back, one and all. If you haven't done it, click subscribe down below. And then click the little bell next to that to get alerts so that when new videos come out, you're among the first to get them. YouTube sends off a little alert via the email and lets you know, hey, new video to watch. Mgtow is men going their own way. That is men giving up on the matriarchy, that is the female-dominated world, the gynocentric model. Right? They want us to do as they say. And what are those techniques they use? They use shame, they use guilt, ridicule, they use social pressure, personal pressure, family pressure, professional pressure. Why? Why do they do it? Right? Why do women have to control us? Why do they have to try? Well, the reason is because they don't like men to be powerful. Right? They don't want to elevate women up to where men are. They want to bring men down to women's level. So this, as far as I'm concerned, is a social experiment that started well over 150 years ago. And it's called feminism. And it's been gaining momentum and gaining and giving more privileges and special privileges to women to destroy men. And at this point in history, men have finally had enough, right? As if we don't have enough trouble with just feminism alone, right? The world is falling apart. Socially, shit's going south, right? The homosexual agenda, which used to be, okay, you can come out of the closet, we'll quit laughing at you, is now they're out of the closet and they're screaming in our faces that we have to accept them, whether they're lesbian, gay, bisexual, queer, or whatever other names they have. And if they want to be called a tree, you have to call them a tree, right? It's in our face. Right? We're having political problems, diplomatic problems, economic problems, and we've got feminism in our face. Life is hard enough without dealing with that shit. And then you realize, as a man, as you grow, mature, you're now an adult and you go, what the hell is this? I'm faced with the fact that I'm supposed to marry a woman. I'm supposed to dedicate my life to her. And she can, at any time she wants, for any reason she wants, cut me off. Kick me out of my own house. Garnish my wages. Get a divorce. Take the kids. Demand spousal support. Demand child support. Demand half of all assets. Not accept any responsibility for any debt or loss, and want half my retirement. And then if you go along after the marriage and you start to succeed, women can actually come after you and demand a portion of the money that you make in and above what you were already making. That is, if you realize you're fucked after the divorce and you need to work even harder and start a new business, if you make more money than you had prior, she's going to claim that it's because of her that you get to pay. That is, she was so good, right, that you went out and made more money and she's responsible, therefore entitled to half of it. So, we go through all of that. And where are we at? Men are going, we've had it with life. We've had it with political pressure, social pressure, economic pressure. We've fucking had it. It's got a name. It's called Mgtow. Men going their own way. If you're Mgtow, you can deal with any of this other shit. Because Mgtow deals primarily with this gynocentric matriarchy of feminist in-your-face crap. It says, I don't need a woman, number one. Number two, I don't have to accept social standards. I don't have to get married. Or I don't have to have kids. Right? And you choose as a man right up front what you're willing to accept as far as a relationship, if any at all, and where it goes. And we also understand, as Mgtow, as men going our own way, that we're completely and totally responsible for what happens to us. We get married and she screws up the whole thing. We know it's our fault. Yeah, it's our fault. We know who did the bad things, right? But we have to accept responsibility for ourselves, put all that other crap aside, and move on with our lives. Right? That is the essence of being a man. It's not just being Mgtow, but being a man, accepting responsibility for yourself. By the way, thank you guys for the scotch and stogies. You guys who donate, I wish I could have those drinks with you, but we're scattered to the four corners of the world. Yeah. Scattered to the four corners of the world. And I can't, I only know a few people who know I do this channel personally. Right? Just a few people within the 10-mile radius. Right? A couple of them are women. Cracks me up. They don't give a shit. Cracks me up. But who does give a shit? What women do give a shit? Before we get to them, let's talk about the men that would hear me talk in such a chauvinistic manner, saying, screw women, get them behind us, out of our lives, out of our hair, quit trying to manipulate us and shame us into doing what they want instead of letting us be our own men, right? The men that would say, you better knock that kind of talk off, right? They're white knights. They would run to defend the social structure of you must cower before woman. They think they're going to impress women with that shit and impress their friends with how high and mighty they are. I've yet to meet a white knight who can stand up to me and tell me face to face how he's going to teach me or show me, whether intellectually or any other way. No white knights in my life. But they're out there. As Mgtow, you've got to be aware of them. Who else are out there? Simpletons. They just don't fucking get it. They don't understand. They don't know any better. In manginas, they're usually hiding behind the women, right? They're so weak that they embolden women to believe that they're actually the equal of a man, intellectually or physically, right? These are, these little pipsqueaks of a guy. They're just pussies, right? Manginas. But really, who does this movement affect? Who is it bothering? It's bothering women who learn about it and don't know how to deal with it. Now, I told you I work with a woman who knows I have these extreme positions. She doesn't give a shit. Why? Because she's comfortable with herself. Pretty uncommon for a woman to be comfortable with herself, right? Because she knows that men have their fucked up problems too, and she deals with herself. But other women that watch these videos on this channel and all Mgtow channels, right? They get pretty upset by that shit. Any woman that's upset by this, basically, in my opinion, is upset that they have been caught. Whether or not they participate in the shaming and the guilting and the manipulation and the tomscrewery that they put men through, they're aware of it if they don't participate in it, and they should be ashamed. So they try and hide it. They come on here and they talk a bunch of crap. Right? They play a number of ridiculous games that I call logical fallacies. Right? Because they don't want us to have this position, to develop a very set understanding of how women think, operate, and what their goals are. And most women who are even the hardcore feminists don't really understand, which is amazing. They don't understand where this is all leading, where it came from, what caused it to get here. They just know how to work the fucking system and work us over in the process. Right? Because women learn to manipulate. They don't give a shit about what people think. Right? And when they get caught, they don't like it. They don't like being held accountable. So Mgtow videos, if they watch one, they're like, oh my god, those guys are figuring it out. The fucking gig is up. Right? That's right, bitches. The gig is up. Right? The gig is up. It is over. Game over. When men go red pill, Mgtow, they don't go back. And I always say, tell other men. And that drives these fucking bitches nuts. Because they don't want me doing these videos and telling you. They don't want you talking to your friends, right? Your uncles, your cousins, right? Anyone you know, whether they're young or old, right? Whether they're white, yellow, red, black, brown, it don't fucking matter. Because the game is played the same by all women. Race, creed, color, even wealth, their status. It's the same game. It's get into a man's head by going through his penis and then fucking his thinking up, confusing him, rattling him. Right? When a woman can be honest, right, they can get themselves in trouble. So they basically hide everything in their lives. They hide their agenda. Right? When I got a divorce, my ex-wife, now ex-wife, told me, yeah, I always had an escape plan. I was like, what? She had an agenda the whole time. Right? It just took a matter of what? Circumstance, time, happen chance, whatever. Came down to opportunity, time for her to do what she did and exercise her escape plan. Right? That's the agenda. That's one of the many agendas that women have. And they don't want us teaching it. So any woman that comments here, any woman that comes in and says, oh, this guy's a this and this guy's a that, and you guy Mgtows are this, and they just want an argument. They want to try and shame you, guilt you, scare you back. They're going to give you lies and bullshit. They're going to tell stories, or they're just going to berate you. They're going to try all of the tricks. But what is fascinating to me is when you're Mgtow, you wear the armor, right, of protection. It's called truth. It's called understanding. And it takes a long time to get for some people. Some people got to watch, 10 hours, 20 hours, 50 hours, who knows? 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 2 years, who knows? Every man's a little different. But when you start to get the information, when you start to grasp there's a problem, and you run into these Mgtow videos, it just makes sense. You see, it makes sense, and you can't let it go. Right? And that's what these women are afraid of. That's why they're here. Otherwise, we would just sound like a bunch of sexist idiots. Right? They could go, oh, they're just a bunch of crackpots. Right? We don't have to worry about those guys. No, they're worried to death about us. And they can't do a fucking thing about it. And that really scares them, because the gig is up. When men start to get a taste of what Mgtow is and how they're being screwed with, cheated by women and cheated by the system, and then they realize they don't have to participate in it, that frees your mind up. It frees up your wallet. And you realize that you don't have to participate in that game or many other ridiculous social, political, economic games. An example of a political game, you start seeing guilt and shame for what it is. Right? You don't have to participate in that system. When it comes to money or the economics, right? Women use guilt and shame. They want you to buy them stuff, be responsible for them. They're supposed to be our equal, but all of a sudden they've got a minimum wage job, and you're buying them a fucking Lexus.